St. Thomas University Journalism and the New Brunswick Beacon present The Basement Files.
Hi, I'm Bronte James.
And I'm Caitlin Camara, and welcome to this week's edition of The Basement Files. Our top stories are...
Former Liberal MLA Kelly Lamrock has recently joined the NDP, but says he is not looking to run in the next election.
And gun control debates have reached new heights after Barack Obama's State of the Union speech. Last week, Barack Obama moved the crowd to tears at his 2013 State of the Union speech. The Sandy Hook Elementary shooting has brought gun control debates to new heights, and now controversy is spreading north of the border. Kaylee Moore reports on how Canadian gun owners are weighing in.
Guns. A never-ending debate in U.S. politics. The issue regained attention after 20 kids and 6 adults were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School in December. The shooting in Newtown, Connecticut happened a week before Christmas, leaving Americans of all political parties in sorrow. President Obama's 2013 State of the Union speech brought tears to his audience as he demanded a vote on gun control.
The families of Newtown deserve a vote. The families of Aurora deserve a vote. The families of Oak Creek and Tucson and Blacksburg and the countless other communities ripped open by gun violence, they deserve a simple vote.
Obama said this time is different as he referenced past debates on reducing gun violence. The president gave a 4-point plan on his focus. Some Canadian gun owners disagree with parts of Obama's plan. Chris Palmer says restricting assault weapons isn't necessary and the president should focus on magazine limits.
If you can acquire a 50-round magazine in a caliber like .308, that's what gives these people the abilities to go in and shoot up schools. It's not the weapon, it's the actual magazine capacity. If you were to cap it at 5 or even 10 rounds, people just wouldn't have the ability to go in and shoot up a school because they'd be changing their magazine constantly.
Political scientist Dr. Jamie Gillies says Obama's opportunity to advocate is now.
If you look at what happened in Newtown and what happened at Virginia Tech and what happened in Aurora, Colorado, if there was a time for at least some lobby groups to challenge the NRA's influence over the definition of protecting the Second Amendment, things like banning assault weapons, it would be now.
Fredericton Hunter Shane Farnham agrees assault weapons have no use on the streets.
I think Obama has the right idea in that he needs to first deal with the assault rifles and stuff and getting them out of the hands of the public, and then he can gravitate towards dealing with mental health services.
Gun control is mostly a state issue in the U.S. Obama must advocate to each state legislature if he wants to see change, because it won't happen in Congress. For Stu Journalism, I'm Kaylee Moore.
Former Liberal MLA Kelly Lamrock has announced he switched over to the NDP, but Lamrock isn't set on running in the upcoming election. As Nick Murray shows us, he has much more interest in something less politically correct.
Development and education.
He's been out of politics for over 3 years, but Kelly Lamrock is still making headlines. Last week, the former New Brunswick Attorney General and Minister of Education defected from his former Liberal Party to join the New Democrats. Lamrock lost his seat in the legislature in 2010, but has since found a new interest right across the street from his old playground. He teamed up with his director to take on an adult-only parody of Sesame Street, a former Broadway musical called Avenue Q.
We were talking, we noticed that the rights to Avenue Q were available. We said, you know, that would be a really daring kind of show to bring to Fredericton. And somewhere by the end of the conversation, we decided to start up Mostly the Moment and do theater that was, you know, hopefully would allow people who were not professionals but wanted to act at a very challenging level.
The Avenue Q script was anything but politically correct, and that's what Lamrock loved about it. It was performed at the Playhouse and immediately emerged on Fredericton's theater scene.
And then we had 500 the next night, and we nearly sold out the last night. It was just growing. So I like that. You know, it's Fredericton always had this reputation as sort of a conservative town that only supports very tired old titles, and people here know their theater, and there really is a growing community who want to be challenged and try something new. So it was cool.
Mostly the Moment has held 5 shows since the inaugural season last year. Now, Lamrock's preparing a 6th show based on the 1974 Mel Brooks movie Young Frankenstein. Lamrock says he's not planning to run in the upcoming election, but says he's enjoying his time away from New Brunswick politics. For Stu Journalism, I'm Nick Murray.
The 31st annual Snow-O-Rama brought out people of all ages to enjoy outdoor activities, all while donating to a good cause. However, coordinator Helen Kaplis said she expected a much larger turnout and that this might be the event's last year. Anika Divenvorden attended the snowy affair.
There was lots of excitement at Mactaquac Provincial Park over the weekend. The park hosted Snow-O-Rama. It's an annual fundraiser put on by Easter Seals New Brunswick, a non-profit organization that works with persons with disabilities. This was the 31st year for the event. It attracted people of all ages and sizes. Although many turned out, the Resource Development Coordinator, Helene Kaplis, expected a larger crowd.
You know, these things do have a lifespan, and maybe 30 years is a good lifespan for a fundraiser, so we might look at something new for next year.
Snow-O-Rama was started in 1975 by famous Canadian wrestler at the time, whipper Billy Watson. The event was held in 12 communities across Ontario. It raised thousands of dollars to help children with physical disabilities. The event still takes place today in many communities across the country. All proceeds go towards the cost of making special equipment. Wheelchairs are expensive. This little chair costs $2,000, and that's without the seat. Kaplis says it's not always easy for families to buy the equipment their child may need.
And we look after the whole of New Brunswick and help families with children with disabilities, because equipment is so expensive that it's hard for some people to be able to supply their family and look after all their needs with mobility equipment and speech therapy equipment, that kind of thing.
There was a variety of different activities going on: skiing, snowshoeing, and a snowman building contest. There was even a sleigh ride on site. Many kids spent the day on the hill. Going down was a blast, but coming up was a different story. Cadets were on site to help the children. Julie Newman was one of them.
We were told to get out of the lodge, so we decided to come sliding. And when all the little kids showed up, we just decided we've been here long enough, help them out, let them have a turn, let them have as much fun as possible.
For adults, there was the annual snowmobile poker run. The run took about 4 hours. There were prizes for the winners.
After 31 years of Snow-O-Rama, the Easter Seals have decided that it's time to start planning something new for next year. For Stu Journalism, I'm Anika Divenvorden.
Frederictonians eagerly awaited the St. Louis Blues to take on the Detroit Red Wings last week, not because they're happy the lockout is over, but because they wanted to see fellow resident and St. Louis Blues goaltender Jake Allen play his first game in the NHL. A Leo Hayes graduate, he has since played 3 games in the NHL and started in his last game. Allen saved 15 shots and took the Blues to a 4-3 victory. Some people are looking for a new way to spend their Valentine's Day, and the Canadian Blood Services are showing them how. They're encouraging couples to give the gift of blood this year, rather than the traditional flowers and candy. Nicole Vare has more on the story.
Blood. It's in you to give. This is a slogan Canadian Blood Services promotes on a regular basis. And this past Valentine's Day, the St. John Clinic encouraged people to get out and spread the love. Blood is always in high demand, and organizers say there is a need to make donating more appealing.
You gotta try and make it sexy a little bit. Blood donation, you gotta kind of make it fun for people, so this was kind of a way that we used to do that.
Grab a date to donate was the theme for the romantic holiday, with the hope that couples would spend their evening sharing the love. Emily Slip and Brandon Perkins did just that. They are both first-time donors and spent their Valentine's Day at the clinic.
It would be neat just to go and see what it's all about, kind of, and I don't know, like I've never done anything like this before, so it was fun.
Graham McDonald has been volunteering at Canadian Blood Services for 3 years. He sees lots of couples that come to donate.
They sit there and, you know, they sort of looking back and forth at each other all the time. The older ones sit there, and I know it was when I was still married, my wife was alive. You didn't sit there and look at your wife as often as you did when you're going over there. So, yeah, you could tell. Yeah, and we had quite a few off university, too.
Graham says this is his favorite place to volunteer, and all the donors look forward to his hot soup.
I just lived down the street, so I was walking up here one day, and I thought, I wonder if they want any volunteers in here. So I came in, and I got in, and I said, what do you want me to do? And she said, talk to donors. I never had a job where I just sat around and talked to people. It's always been committee work or doing presentations. And this is fun.
The clinic hopes that people will continue to pass on the kindness and help those in need.
Every time you donate blood, you can save up to 3 lives. And this Valentine's Day, people came together to help save lives and spread the love. For Stu Journalism, I'm Nicole Vare.
More than 75 teams competed at the East Coast Spirit cheerleading competition this past weekend. 6 Fredericton teams attended the 2-day event held in St. John. Both the University of New Brunswick teams won 3rd in their divisions, and the Infinity Mini team took home a first-place banner. 3 out-of-province teams won invitations to the World Championships held in Florida this April. This competition marks the first of the season for all Fredericton teams.
Thanks for watching this week's show. Check us out online at nbbeacon.ca.
See you next time.